Are you tired of feeling lost and confused? Today I'm going to take you on a journey of discovery as we delve into one of the most profound and transformative teachings of the Buddha, dependent origination. This powerful teaching has the power to unlock the mysteries of reality and change the way that you see yourself and the world forever. Get ready to have your mind blown as we explore the interdependent nature of existence and discover the key to seeing your true nature and the true nature of reality. Here's a short reflection to illustrate the truth and the complexity of dependent origination. What caused you to watch this video? Identify the primary cause for you watching this. Perhaps it's because you want to live more skillfully or be more compassionate. Perhaps you had nothing else to do. Perhaps a friend told you to watch it. Once you've identified the primary cause, think of the various factors that caused that to come into being. Then reflect on what caused those things to happen, and so on and so on. If you continue this exercise for very long, you realize that there's countless causes for you watching this video. You end up with a flowchart with innumerable links. In other words, the entire universe or cosmos caused you to watch this video. The 12 links of dependent origination explain how suffering arises and how it can be ended. By understanding the nature of dependent origination, one can see that all things are interconnected and that suffering arises from the cycle of causes and conditions, beginning with ignorance. Breaking the link at any point can result in liberation. The first link, ignorance, refers to the fundamental ignorance or misunderstanding of the true nature of reality, which leads to the formation of wrong views and wrong actions. And this leads to the second link, volitional formations, which refers to the actions and intentions that we carry out based on our ignorance. Now, these actions and intentions lead to the arising of consciousness, the third link, and the sense of self. From here, the links continue to describe how the sense of self and the various forms and appearances in the world lead to contact with sense objects like sounds and sights and so on, which leads to a feeling of pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, which then leads to a craving or clinging. And this leads to becoming, or the reinforcement of our belief in a separate self. Nisargadatta, who was an Indian spiritual teacher in non-dualism, also known as Advaita Vedanta in the 20th century, referred to the principle of dependent origination this way. Everything is interlinked, and therefore everything has numberless causes. The entire universe contributes to the least thing. A thing as it is because the world is as it is. And finally, Meister Eckhart, who is now considered one of the greatest Christian mystics, said, "All creation is a single unity. It is all and all. Separate yourself from two-ness. Be one in one, one with one, from the one. There is no other." So this model, these 12 links, it's not a linear causal model. It's a complex dynamic model, saying that if certain conditions are in place, then an event will occur. And if the conditions are changed or altered in any way, something different can occur. Like take snow, for example. Snow occurs when various conditions come together, temperatures below freezing, moisture in the atmosphere, and so on. The moisture in the form of water droplets or ice crystals freezes and then falls through the cold air as snow. For snow to occur, all these factors are required. If one factor is missing, such as cold temperatures or the humidity, something else will occur, such as rain. I want to talk a little bit about karma and dependent origination because they both need each other, and there's actually a lot of misunderstanding about karma in our society. The principle of karma is closely related to dependent origination. The word karma is derived from the Sanskrit word kri, which means to do or to act. Karma refers to the idea that every action or intention of an individual has a corresponding effect or consequence. Sounds simple enough. This means that our present experiences and circumstances are the result of our past actions, and that our future experiences and circumstances will be determined by our present actions. So all phenomena arise in dependence upon other factors and conditions. And this includes the actions and intentions of living human beings. So how is karma related then to dependent origination? It's closely related to the intention behind our actions. The Buddha taught that it's not just the physical act itself that determines the effect, but the intention or motivation behind the act. For example, if we give money to a homeless person out of genuine compassion, it will have a positive effect. Whereas if we give money to a homeless person out of desire for recognition or praise, it will have a negative effect. The law of karma also applies to our thoughts and speech. Negative thoughts and speech, such as anger, hatred, and deceit, will have negative effects, while positive thoughts and speech, such as love and compassion, honesty, will have positive effects. The effects of our actions, whether positive or negative, are known as karmic fruits. And they can manifest in many different ways. For example, positive actions may lead to happiness, prosperity, and good health, while negative actions may lead to suffering, poverty, and illness. Karma means that nothing is inevitable, or put another way, things do not unfold in a deterministic way. With this teaching, we see a way out of conditioned suffering. This opens the possibility for breaking the cycle of dependent origination. With wisdom, and if we're conscious of our actions, we directly affect what happens next, and we plant the seeds for future moments. Here's a short practice that you could engage in. So how can knowing dependent origination help us live more wisely? The principle is important to our everyday lives because when we see that life is phenomenon rolling on with everything interconnected and causing each other, we don't take things so personally. We don't struggle with life. With this deep realization of dependent origination, that we see that we are not separate from the world around us, we can release the sense of a separate, independent self. We can see that separateness is an illusion we have created, and we can overcome this ignorance. So the practice is to see for ourselves, not to adopt a belief that it's true, but rather to see and know it, that it's true in our direct experience. When I started practicing with dependent origination, I started with a lot of online reading and reading books and listening to Dharma talks. I did this for quite some time, and then I quickly realized that there is an abundance of academic and philosophical work out there, but little practical information. So I began to kind of practice with and directly see how dependent origination unfolds in my direct experience. I saw eventually that it's very approachable, and it's also a very profound teaching. When I was explaining the 12 links, did you notice that ignorance was the first of the 12 links? Ignorance is the fundamental ignorance of the nature of reality. This is summed up very neatly in one teaching of the Buddha. Nothing whatsoever is to be clung to as I or mine. Whoever has heard this has heard all the teachings. Whoever practices this has practiced all the teachings. Whoever realizes this has realized all the teachings. So truly knowing the principle of dependent origination can change how we live our lives in several important ways. When we understand interconnectedness of all things, we feel a greater sense of compassion for others, as well as a deeper understanding of the impact of our actions in the world. It highlights the importance of being mindful of our actions and intentions because they have a direct impact on our future experiences and on others. So this can lead to a greater sense of personal responsibility and increased commitment to ethical behavior. In terms of our own suffering, dependent origination helps us to understand that all things are conditioned, and this can provide a perspective on our life and experiences, helping us to understand that suffering is not unique to oneself, but it's universal. It can play a role in the egoic self falling away. Realizing dependent origination can help break the cycle of our own suffering by showing us how greed, hatred, and ignorance are the root causes of our suffering, and how overcoming these three poisons is the path to liberation. In summary, understanding dependent origination can lead to greater empathy and compassion for others, a deeper understanding of the impact of one's actions, an increased commitment to ethical behavior, insight into the cause of suffering, and it can contribute to the falling away of the egoic self. I hope you found this video helpful in understanding this very important teaching of the Buddha, dependent origination. If you'd like to hit the like button or the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.